John's childhood was a relentless nightmare. From the moment he stepped onto the school grounds, he became the favored target for bullies. Perhaps it was his quiet demeanor, his love for reading, or simply the fact that he never retaliated that made him an easy victim. Regardless of the reason, John's formative years were marred by relentless torment. The tormentors were ruthless in their pursuit of his misery. They hurled insults, destroyed his belongings, and even resorted to physical violence. John's self-esteem was shattered, and he grew increasingly isolated, unable to trust or confide in anyone. The scars left by those tormentors ran deep, both physically and emotionally. His parents, seeing the despair in their son's eyes, did their best to support him. They spoke to teachers and school administrators, hoping for intervention. But the bullying persisted, and the toll it took on John's mental health was immeasurable. Chapter 2, A New Beginning. John's family, desperate for a change, decided to uproot and move to a new town. The hope was that a fresh start would erase the painful memories and offer him a chance at a happier life. With the packing done and the old house sold, they left behind the painful memories, moving to a peaceful neighborhood with the promise of new beginnings. In his new school, John was initially reserved, hesitant to make new friends, still haunted by his past experiences. However, fate had other plans. One day, he crossed paths with Sarah, a friendly and compassionate girl who noticed his struggle and extended a hand of friendship. Sarah's warmth and kindness gradually melted John's defenses. They spent countless hours talking about books, their dreams, and their fears. John began to open up about his past, recounting the torment he had endured. Sarah listened without judgment, her empathy providing the emotional shelter he so desperately needed. Despite the fresh start, John couldn't escape the harsh reality of bullying. In his new school, he witnessed a young boy named Alex being relentlessly bullied, just as he had once been. The sights and sounds of the bullying stirred something deep within John's soul. His heart ached as he watched Alex's tormentors. It was as if he was reliving his own painful past, feeling the emotions that he thought he had left behind. He couldn't bear to see another child suffer like he had. That day, John made a decision. He decided it was time to take action. He couldn't stand idly by and allow another innocent child to be tormented. The pain of his own past gave him the strength to intervene, to protect the vulnerable. John's first intervention was cautious but effective. He approached the bullies involved in the incident with a calm and firm demeanor. He didn't resort to violence but used his words to make them understand the pain they were causing. It was a unique approach that, surprisingly, made an impact. Word of the mysterious defender who seemed to appear out of nowhere began to spread through the school. The students whispered in awe about the quiet, unassuming John, who had become a hero without a cape. The bullied students, who had previously suffered in silence, started to feel safer knowing that someone was there to stand up for them. To protect his own identity and maintain his cover, John decided to adopt a secret persona. He became the masked hero, donning a disguise that concealed his face and true identity. This allowed him to continue his interventions while keeping a low profile. The masked hero's actions continued to gain recognition, and he earned the respect and admiration of those he had helped. The bullied students felt a renewed sense of hope and security, while the bullies became increasingly wary of the mysterious figure in the shadows. As the masked hero's actions continued, John found himself at the center of a growing storm. His interventions had caught the attention of both supporters and skeptics. Some students were genuinely grateful for his help, seeing him as a guardian angel who stood up for the vulnerable. Others, however, labeled him a troublemaker, believing that he was stirring up more problems than solutions. The school's administration was similarly divided. Some staff members applauded his efforts, recognizing that bullying was a pervasive issue that needed to be addressed. But others worried that the masked hero's interventions might lead to unintended consequences. The situation became increasingly complex as the lines between right and wrong, hero and vigilante, blurred. John's dual life began to take a toll on his emotional well-being. He couldn't help but question the impact of his actions. Despite the risks, he couldn't give up the mission he had taken upon himself. It was personal, a journey that he had to complete. The stories of those he had helped became his refuge. He found solace in the gratitude and relief in their eyes, in the words of the children he had protected. Their stories became his driving force, pushing him to keep going, despite the inner turmoil. John wrestled with the questions that plagued him. Was he doing the right thing? Was he truly making a difference, or was he just perpetuating a cycle of violence and retribution? As the weight of his secret identity grew heavier, he sought answers in the faces of those he had saved. One fateful day, while intervening in a particularly intense bullying incident, the masked hero's identity came dangerously close to being revealed. An accidental slip caused his mask to fall, revealing a glimpse of his face. Panic coursed through him as he realized that someone might have seen his features. The incident sent shockwaves through the student body, raising questions and suspicions. The masked hero's true identity was now at risk of being exposed, and the consequences of such an exposure were unfathomable. John was forced to confront the reality of his situation. The life he had built, the cause he had championed, all hung in the balance. With the threat of exposure looming like a dark cloud, John made a decision. He couldn't continue living this double life, and he needed to confide in someone he trusted. He chose to confide in Sarah, the friend who had been there for him from the beginning. In a quiet corner of their favorite park, John shared the truth with Sarah. He explained the motivations behind his actions, the pain he had endured as a child, and the overwhelming desire to stand up against bullies. Sarah listened attentively, her eyes filled with a mix of admiration, empathy, and concern. The weight of the secret he had carried for so long was finally lifted, and the burden was now shared between them. Sarah promised to support him in whatever decision he made next. With Sarah now in the know, John's circle of confidants expanded. Together, they decided to take his mission to the next level. They recruited other students who were equally passionate about the cause and formed a dedicated team. Their mission was clear: raise awareness about the devastating effects of bullying and inspire the community to take action. The campaign gained momentum as they organized workshops, awareness events, and outreach programs, all designed to combat bullying at its roots. The team's dedication to the cause was unwavering, and they saw the impact of their efforts as bullying incidents began to decrease in the school. With a growing team of allies, John's anti-bullying campaign took on a life of its own. He was no longer just the masked hero, he had become the Bully Buster, a symbol of kindness, courage, and hope. Their efforts began to show results as bullying incidents in the school decreased significantly. The once toxic atmosphere in the school was replaced by one of inclusivity and support. The town, too, began to undergo a transformation as the community rallied behind the Bully Buster's mission. As the Bully Buster, John became a source of inspiration and hope for countless children who had suffered at the hands of bullies. He had achieved what he had set out to do, and yet, he knew there was still work to be done. The story concludes with the positive impact John, now known as the Bully Buster, had made on his community. The town's transformation was undeniable. Bullying incidents had decreased significantly, and the once fearful students now felt safe and supported. As the Bully Buster continued to inspire kindness and courage in others, his legacy became a testament to the power of one person's determination to combat bullying and promote a culture of empathy and compassion. The ripple effect of his actions reached far beyond the schoolyard, leaving an indelible mark on the community, and serving as a shining example of the change that could be achieved through relentless determination and unwavering kindness. The story of John's transformation from a bullied victim to the Bully Buster was not just his story, it was a story of hope, resilience, and the enduring power of compassion to create positive change in the world.